Hello, everybody! I hope you're doing well. Today is a special day because we're gonna do a talk show and not a music show. I'm a little bit stressed, honestly.
This is 89.1 WFDU HD3 TNEC, the student voice of Fairleigh Dickinson University.
For those who don't know me, let me introduce myself. My name is Juliet, like Romeo and Juliet. I'm an exchange student here in Fairleigh Dickinson University for a semester. I come from France, the south of France especially, la French Riviera, with the Mediterranean Sea and so on. Non, parce que rien à voir entre les nordistes et les sudistes. S'il vous plaît, on mélange pas les torchons et les serviettes. Hein. Anyways, in this talk show, I wanted to mix both of my languages, which means talking in English obviously like now, but also parler en français. Aucun rapport, but I discovered a Canadian YouTuber who makes French and English, and I loved it. Americans who are listening to me right now, don't leave my show, please. I swear you will understand. In 3 days, it is my birthday. I will turn 19. Je sais pas si c'est depuis toujours, but I love personal development. Or more, I fell in love with personal development. Certains vont me demander, what does it mean? Ça veut dire quoi, personal development, développement personnel? It's true that this word grouped a lot of different meaning, different things in the same time. Ok, bon, ça sonne un peu obvious, mais c'est le développement de ta personne. C'est devenir la meilleure version of yourself. And be careful de pas confondre la trend of being that girl and being the best version of yourself. It's not the same thing at all. Being the best version of yourself is improve yourself. Toujours essayer de improve yourself. Do better than yesterday. Smile more than yesterday. A small step is better than no step. My motto, or just the quotation that I love the most, is I'm not everything I want to be, but I'm more than I was, and I'm still learning. And I will repeat it again, sorry. I'm not everything I want to be, but I'm more than I was, and I'm still learning. And for my birthday's week, I would like to share with you all my passion, my knowledge, my thoughts, literally everything about loving yourself. S'aimer soi-même, aimer sa propre compagnie, aimer être seul, discover all the benefits to be alone, to learn about yourself, and so on. If you're not in the mood, je vous laisse écouter une musique que j'affectionne tout particulièrement, Trying My Best of Anton Sierra. Profite de ce moment to grab a pen, a pencil, a book to take notes, and we will start by talking about the loneliness. Et prends des surligneurs aussi, parce que faut mettre des couleurs dans ta vie, Kevin.
C'est quand tu vas mettre des paillettes dans ma vie, Kevin.
Anyways, we're back in 3 minutes to talk about la loneliness, la solitude.
I know you think I got it all figured out, 'cause I walk around like my head's in the clouds, but I'm just a boy with his heart pouring out of his head. I wish that you could see the pain that I've seen and all of the times I spent being not me. I hope you know that it's not always happy in my head, 'cause I don't know the perfect road to go down, but I know I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best to be okay. I'm trying my best, but every day it's so hard. And I'm holding my breath. I'm holding my breath till I can say all of the words I want to say from my heart. If you really wanted, I could let you inside. It's been so long and I've got nothing left to hide. Would you believe me if I told you that I've got flaws? Now it's time to let the curtains unfold and tell all the stories that I didn't want told. I let it out so I unburden my soul. I won't stop, 'cause I don't know the perfect road to go down, but I know I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best to be okay. I'm trying my best, but every day it's so hard. And I'm holding my breath. I'm holding my breath till I can say all of the words I want to say from my heart. I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best to be okay. I'm trying my best, but every day it's so hard. And I'm holding my breath. I'm holding my breath till I can say all of the words I want to say from my heart.
I think it is important to take time off yourself, prendre des days off. Not only social media's off, but just everything in general. Sur la vie, la société, the world. Just days off où tu te ressentes sur toi-même, ressentes sur tes objectifs, sur tes envies, sur what you like and what you don't like, your desires, all these kind of things. What you accomplished, what you enjoyed or didn't enjoy, your friends, your family. Les choses qui comptent pour toi, les choses que t'aimes, mais aussi les choses que t'aimes pas et qui t'énervent. That makes you sad or just that makes you feeling bad. Les choses qui ont pu te stresser ces derniers temps. And why? Comment faire pour que ça n'arrive plus anymore? C'est ce genre de choses qui requires to take time. But we never take time for these things because we are afraid to talk with ourselves, affronter nos pensées, confront our thoughts and fears. And I will explain to you why is it important, at any age, to enjoy notre propre compagnie. For teenagers in middle school, high school, or even college, donc le collège, lycée, ou les études sup, on a tendance à être afraid about it because of this fear of judgment, cette peur d'être jugé, que les gens think you're alone, without any friends, not popular, and therefore probably not interesting. But this is not true. And one day, my dance teacher, en fait c'était une intervenante, her name is Lauriane, on faisait des diagonales de marché. Oui, just walking to know better how to walk. She wanted we walk as we walk in the street, and not as we walk during a dance show on the scene, you know? And I don't remember comment elle en est arrivée à dire ça, mais elle a dit une phrase qui m'a marquée, and that I will always remember. If you have to walk, wherever you are, be proud of it. Be proud to walk alone. Assume it. Et c'est à ce moment-là que les gens arrêteront de te regarder mal. Even if most of the people don't care at all about you, but you might think the opposite. You know, when you are at school with your friends, waiting to eat, and you realize that you forgot something in this class, ta carte de cantine ou ta veste, et tes potes, ou ceux avec qui tu restes, tell you, I wait for you in the line, go get your ticket or jacket. At this moment, you have to walk alone into your class. Tu vas croiser des gens who might think you don't have friends. Ça craint, wesh. But in reality, if you're proud to walk alone, nobody will think you sucks. I realized that thanks to Lauriane, I was always repeating myself, you're not alone. Be proud. People will even be impressed. Be proud, Juliette. Be proud to walk alone. And you know what? I met my best friend this year, and she told me her first impression. She thought I was the popular girl, whereas I was not. And that's the thing. Whatever it is, if you believe in it, si tu crois en toi ou en ce que tu te dis, ça deviendra une reality a bit more every day, or it will stop to be a shame for you. But adults, parents, grandparents, you will ask me, why does it matter to appreciate being alone? Pourquoi je devrais apprécier manger seul en terrasse ou me balader seul dans ma ville que je connais déjà par cœur? Whereas you probably don't care about the other's judgment, or maybe you don't have time to stroll in your city, or in parks, you actually don't have time to do sport or do your favorite activity, so why would you waste your time strolling in parks or anywhere else d'ailleurs? Because you have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of your mental health. And it is not by always thinking about how to get things done, what you're gonna do next. Occupez votre cerveau et le remplir de pensées inutiles ou non urgentes, juste pour ne pas penser à vos problèmes. Confront your fears and problems. In reality, juste pour les fuir. Faire l'aveugle en vous convaincant que vous n'avez aucun problème. Et en vous mentant à vous-même by saying to yourself, you're okay. And everything will be okay. It is not always the case. And it is okay. It is okay to feel bad. It is okay to feel sad. It is okay to spend a bad day at work, or a bad week, or even a bad month. It is okay to cry, to be angry, to be afraid about the future or about yourself. Everything is okay. And you have to accept those feelings. But for that, il faut aussi que tu acceptes de ressentir ces sentiments. Il faut que tu acceptes qu'ils ressortent. And for that, you have to listen to your feeling. As you listen to your body by feeding him when you're hungry. Pay attention to your feelings. Écoute-toi. Et pour ça, it requires to take time alone. And here we are. Apprécier sa propre compagnie. Appreciate being alone to feel better. Appreciate being alone to have time to reflect about yourself and your life. C'est le moment de faire un point sur tout. C'est ce moment où tu es sans ton mari ou ta femme, sans tes enfants ou juste sans tes potes. Without your husband or your wife, without your children or just without your friends. Going to the restaurant alone. Perfect moment where you don't lose time in your schedule because in fact, you're eating. But it allows you to think about yourself. How do you feel today? Have you spent a good week? How to improve your week, your day, or your life in general? Qu'est-ce qui ne va pas? Et tout ça en mangeant. Tout bénef, parce que bon, qui n'aime pas manger? Anyways, I hope you understood what I mean and why it is important to take time for yourself, alone. And if you don't have a lot of time for that, take even just 10 or 15 minutes per week. But I'm sure that you can have time for it. Dire que vous n'avez pas le temps, c'est des excuses, les amis. When we want, we can. Everything is possible when you really want it. Tout est possible. C'est juste une question de priorité. I let you with another song. Quand je marche de Ben Mazué. And I will then explain to you the rule of 4 steps to feel better in any situation.
Faut que j'envoie ces lettres. Faut que je rappelle mon père d'abord. Faut que je prévoie cette fête que j'ai promis de faire pour le disque d'or. Faut que je pense à l'été. Trouver des colos pour les gamins. Demander quand est-ce que je les ai. Et puis pour qu'ils voient leurs cousins, faut que je sache ce que mes sœurs ont prévu. Elles vont me dire qu'elles me l'ont déjà dit. Je vais répondre oui mais que je sais plus. Puis faudra que je pense à samedi. J'aimerais les emmener à la mer, loin de ces humeurs grisâtres. Et dimanche on ira voir mon père. On regardera le match tous les 4. Pour ça faut que je l'appelle d'abord lui. Puis cette fille à qui j'avais promis déjà il y a 5 jours que demain je la contacterai, c'est certain. Et que je lui donnerai mon avis sur ce truc là qu'elle a sorti. Un podcast sur les interdits que j'ai trouvé d'ailleurs très bien. Et puis il faut que je poste un beau contenu, je sais pas, un truc nouveau. Et vu le temps que je passe dessus, beaucoup trop peu pour que ce soit beau. Ça va être nul et le pire c'est que je vais réussir à trouver un autre que moi à qui en vouloir pour ça. j'arrête de penser, je vais courir, je vais marcher. Stop, allez, j'arrête de me presser, je vais courir, je vais marcher, je vais sourire. Stop, ça y est, j'arrête de penser, je vais courir, je vais marcher. Stop, allez, j'arrête de me presser, je vais courir, je vais marcher, je vais sourire, je vais me relever. À côté de ça, il y a le silence de mes amis, à qui j'ai renoncé par amour, et qui me rappellent qu'aujourd'hui, je n'ai plus ni elle, ni le temps pour ne serait-ce que les reconquérir. Et puis, plus on vieillit, moins on comprend les gens qui nous entourent. Plus on vieillit, moins on comprend tout court. Alors il y a l'amour des enfants, avec ça tu manques plus de rien. Moi je les aime tellement justement que j'ai tout le temps peur de pas faire bien. Faut dire qu'on parle des blessures faites par le regard d'un père. La moitié des gens malheureux sur cette terre le sont de cette manière. À quoi sert vraiment l'exigence? Pourquoi on souhaite être excellent quand on voit dans quelle déshérence se retrouvent les génies souvent? Moi je voudrais leur apprendre à être heureux avant d'être brillant. Je voudrais leur apprendre à être heureux souvent. Mais ce que je veux pour eux, ce que je veux, c'est bien moins important que ce que je suis. Les gamins, c'est faites ce que je fais, pas faites ce que je veux, encore moins faites ce que je dis. Dans ce cas-là, tant mieux pour la musique, tant mieux pour l'énergie, tant mieux pour les envies. Et pour le reste, pardon, tant pis, pardon, tant pis, pardon, tant pis. Stop, ça y est, j'arrête de penser, je vais courir, je vais marcher. Stop, allez, j'arrête de me presser, je vais courir, je vais marcher, je vais sourire. Stop, ça y est, j'arrête de penser, je vais courir, je vais marcher. Stop, allez, j'arrête de penser, je vais courir, je vais marcher, je vais sourire, je vais me relever. Oh, avancer, se rassembler, sans flancher en jambes, et le chantier des pensées qui semblaient emmêlées. Je m'y connais sans délai, mes soucis prenez-les, et l'angoisse tenez-la bien. Je vais shooter dedans comme elle vient, faut que je marche. Parce que je comprends quand je marche, faut que je marche. Parce que j'apprends quand je marche, faut que je marche. Parce que je pense quand je marche, parce que j'avance quand je marche, parce que je rêve quand je marche.
Thank you for this music. I know if you don't speak French, you didn't understand the lyrics, but I really invite you after this show to go search and translate these lyrics. For a step to feel better, I know I told you that just before this music. Écoute, comprends, accepte et corrige. Listen, understand, accept, and change. I talk about yourself, ton regard sur toi-même, keeping a positive view of yourself, but also how to react when you face problems or bad news. It's not worth it to want going fast, take your time. And as Ben Mazur says in that song, walk, don't rush yourself. Prends le temps pour ces 4 steps. Take time pour aller mieux. Les choses ne peuvent pas se régler en un claquement de doigts. It is the same for sports, for example. You can't do only 1 or 2 days of lifting and already have the body you want. It requires time, effort, but also everything around. Feed your body properly to its need, for example. Okay, it's time for a short break with a small promo, and promis, après, we talk about this first step. Listen.
Are you a commuter? Well, you're in luck. You'll get to experience the college life here at FDU even without dorming. The Fitness Center, or The Fit, is a home away from home. You can work out, study, snack, and socialize all at the same place. Talk about convenience with a bus nearby and lockers for safekeeping. For more information, visit Metropolitan Campus Life on the FDU webpage. My name is Gabriel Watson, and this message was brought to you by the student voice of Fairleigh Dickinson University, 89.1 WFDU, HD3.
As I said, listen. It could be hard to pay attention to your needs, your wants, your feeling in general. I know it. I know it because I'm hard with myself. Je suis difficile avec moi-même parce que je veux toujours être parfaite, be perfect, do everything right, without any mistakes. Et je suis persuadée que je peux l'être. That I can be this perfect girl that I visualize in my head, who is strong, patient, qui sait se relever après any mistakes, qui sait tourner la page, who knows how to deal with anything she faces, and how to feel better in few seconds. But this girl doesn't exist. Nobody is perfect, and nobody will be. You can't feel happy and smile every day. You can't feel better in a day after a bad news. Listen is just a question of looking at yourself. Just look at you with an external vision. Regarde-toi à la troisième personne. Regarde comment tu actes. How do you speak? How do you smile? Behave. Think. Imagine. Don't make any judgment, or don't try to change already. Start by just observing yourself. Second part, understand. Comprends. Tu viens d'observer. Tu viens de t'observer. Now, keep this external vision and try to understand why. Why you make or made these decisions. Why do you look so happy or sad? Why do you like to eat when you're back home? Why don't you feel good? Pourquoi tu sors tous les jours? Pourquoi tu dépenses ton argent dans des choses futiles? Why do you spend your money or do shopping every day? Why do you want to move or travel? Why do you want to have fun right now? Pourquoi tu ne veux pas penser à ton futur? Why don't you want to visualize or imagine your future? Ou pourquoi tu es perdu? Why are you lost? Why don't you find what you like? Answer all these questions. After your observations, you have to understand why. Without any judgment, without thinking you're stupid or not capable of anything. It is wrong, actually. Don't try to blame yourself, but don't try to flee your emotions also. N'essaye pas de faire l'aveugle. Just try to understand, as you may try to understand when someone look at your shirt, and you try to know if it is because you have something on your shirt, or if it is just because of something else. But yeah, you have to try. You will probably not be able to understand everything, but you will discover things, and you will know and understand a bit more about your feelings and your thoughts. Maybe not fully, but more than before. And this is already good. You might go to visit a psychologist to help you understand everything, but you can start by yourself and already understand things by yourself. Third step, accept. It is completely normal to blame ourselves when we do things wrongly according to us. We did something, but we're not proud of it. We might hurt someone, we might regret it, or we might be sad about it. It is normal to react like this. But obviously, what you did is done. You can't change it. I guess we all wanted one day to come back in the past and change something, change what you said or what you did. Oui, on a tous voulu un jour retourner en arrière et changer ce qu'on avait fait. Mais la vie n'est pas comme ça. On fait des erreurs. We all make mistakes. And we can't change it. But we can learn from it to do better next time. Last year, je sortais de mon cours de conduite and I was upset about myself because my driving lesson ne s'est pas passé comme prévu. Not as I expected. And I was so upset that during the trip to return à l'auto-école, I said nothing. J'ai pas prononcé un mot à ma monitrice. Whereas we used to laugh and make jokes every minute. However, this time, I almost cried. Just because I made mistakes. 1,000 of mistakes during this lesson. And I didn't expect that. But the more she was telling me something I did wrong, the more I was doing mistakes. Parce que j'étais contrariée contre moi-même. Un peu plus chaque fois. And after the lesson, I rushed to my car. Je suis arrivée à ma voiture sans permis. Et je savais que je pouvais pas conduire tout de suite. I can't drive when I'm upset because I want to rush, don't stop when I have to, and so on. So I wrote on my journal during 30 minutes. Or maybe more. I don't remember. But listening to classical music to calm my emotions. Pour me calmer, souffler, et faire ces 3 steps que je vous ai présentés. I breathe, I listen to my feeling, then I try to understand. And when I understood why, I accepted this angriness. Because cette nervosité, ce sentiment de haine que j'avais against myself, allait m'aider to improve myself and change. Here's what I wrote. Qui ne fait pas d'erreur? Qui ne s'est pas déjà trompé? Qui n'a pas un jour vécu un échec? Au lycée, à l'auto-école, en amour, en amitié, dans sa vie, dans son avenir, dans son avis ou bien même dans ses souvenirs. Who never did any mistakes? Who? And finally, a mistake. What is it? Ça sert à quoi? Est-ce si grave que ça? Really? Mistakes, in the opposite of what you can think, have to understand. Ça aide à se comprendre. Ça aide à se corriger. Correct yourself. C'est resist, control yourself, à ne pas s'énerver. Don't cry, don't love or give up. Les erreurs, ça forge. Elles sont là to give the best version of yourself, to help you grow and improve yourself. Alors, nourris-toi de ces erreurs. And pay close attention to listen to this and be proud to make mistakes. Because c'est grâce à elles que tu es qui tu es aujourd'hui. It is thanks to those mistakes that you are who you are today. C'est elles qui t'ont fait parcourir ce que tu as parcouru, and that make you live what you lived and experienced in your life. Alors, cela vaut-il vraiment le coup de s'en vouloir pour une simple erreur? Is it really worth it to be upset to yourself for a simple mistake? No, I don't think so. Les adultes, les grands, les sages, tout cela te diront de te tromper et de surtout te remember the lesson you learned from this. This is the first step. Accept. I accepted my mistakes, and we all have to accept what we did because we can't change it, but we can learn from it. Last step, change. Corrige. You learned from from your mistakes. You accept what you did. Now, change your behavior. You may have spent too much money to feel better and be focused on something else than your problems by doing shopping or going to the restaurant with your friends every day. Great! You could have kept this money for something else, but it's okay. But now, stop hanging out every day, or don't go to expensive restaurants. Find something that corresponds to you, finding your great balance between too much and not enough. Trouver un juste milieu entre l'abus et la restriction maximum, tu vois. It was an example, but I hope you understood. You observed, you understood, you accepted. Now, you have to change your behavior according to the person you want to be, according to the idea you have, according to tes exemples, tes modèles. Don't be too hard with yourself. Don't change everything in 2 minutes. As we said, take time, une chose après l'autre. But start somewhere. Start being more open-minded. Start accepting others' default. Travaille sur ta patience. Refocus sur tes valeurs. Apprends à faire des compromis. Learn how to be less selfish or how to give more attention to the people you love. À faire des concessions pour les personnes que tu aimes. Learn how to give love. How to express your feelings in a better way. Pour ne pas heurter certaines personnes. Utiliser le bon mot. If I have to give you again my example of my angriness after my driving lesson, I also wrote a second part to improve myself. Let me read it for you. Toujours voir ce côté positif. Parce que plus égale plus. And because you are someone positive, if you want to share positivity, happiness, de la joie, du rire et du smile around you, you have to see les choses de la bonne manière, in the proper way. I wrote other things, but I keep it for later. So yeah, this is it. These are the 4 steps for everything in your life. Pour une mise au point, a checkpoint. Observe, écoute. Understand, accept, and change. Learn from it. Apprends à partir de tes acceptations. We will now listen to another song that I appreciate a lot, A P.S. Here from James Young, and we're back to talk about self-love.
I'm really on the ropes this time. I've been fighting all my life for you. I never should have said goodbye, but maybe that's what stupid people do. 'Cause you gave me peace, and I wasted it. I'm here to admit that you were my medicine. Oh, I couldn't quit, and I'm down on my knees again, asking for nothing. Thank you for the happiest year of my life. Thank you for the happiest year of my life. Ooh. Don't think I could forgive myself. I'm sorry for the ways that I used you. And I could care less right now, but you know you hurt me pretty good too. Yeah, we made each other bleed, and we tasted it. I'm here to admit that you were my medicine. Oh love, I couldn't quit, and I'm down on my knees again. Thank you for the happiest year of my life. Oh, thank you for the happiest year of my life. Ooh. So, wake me up when they build that time machine. I wanna go back. Wake me up when you were sleeping next to me. 'Cause I really loved you. Ooh, ooh. Thank you for the happiest year of my life. Thank you for the happiest year of my life. Oh, thank you for the happiest year of my life. Yeah. Thank you for the happiest year of my life. Thank you for the happiest year of my life.
Okay, I talked about yourself, your actions, but it is also about the events that happen in your life, but you can't control it, qui ne dépendent pas de toi. So yeah, you can also apply these 4 steps, always. Now, let's talk about self-love. If you doubt about it, personne ne s'aime entièrement. Nobody like everything about him or her. We all have insecurities. On a tous des défauts et on a tous des trucs qu'on aime moins chez nous. We all want to change something about us one day in our life. It could be ton physique, your body, but also ta personnalité. We all wanted to be more positive one day, less stressed, or nervous for an exam like your friend who always arrive completely chill to her exams. However, we all have to learn how to love ourselves, how to love our insecurities, que ça soit our outside or our inside, you know? Alors, vous allez le dire. Vous allez me dire, c'est cool, j'ai accepté my mistakes, I accepted my feelings, my emotions, but I'm still not feeling good about where I go, or who I am, or how I deal with anything. As I said, nobody is perfect, and nobody will be. The thing is that always remember to do better than yesterday. Always be better than yesterday. It could be something better for you, for your mental health, but it could also be something towards others. By being kind with others, by doing something or saying something to the people you love, they will give you back all this attention and love. So if you feel bad, yeah, it's good to take time for yourself. You took time alone. Also to know who are your real friends. Who are the people you can rely on? Who are the people who will always be there for you? Qui sont ces personnes? Most of the time, ça se compte sur les doigts de la main. Then, take time to let them know that you love them. Just tell them that you love them. It's not complicated, but it might be something that you are not comfortable. It might be something that you don't do or don't say, but remind them that you love them. And I'm almost sure that they will be happy. They will probably smile, be honored, and will give you back this love. Self-love is also reminding who you are. Reminding you who you are, all your strengths, toutes tes qualités, tes forces. Look at you in the mirror. Vraiment compliqué pour moi. A real challenge. But it is actually the fact of confronting ourselves. Look at you in the mirror, or through videos of you or photos of you that you took in these last months or years, and reminds you out loud, or by writing everything somewhere in a book or on your phone or your computer. Anyways, remind you where you were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, a year ago. Reminds you all the challenges you faced, all the things you achieved. We always remember all about the bad things about ourselves or just in general. We always remember the bad events, our mistakes, and our bad experiences or our regrets. But look at your accomplishment. Prends 30 secondes maintenant. Take 30 seconds to find and reflect on one positive thing you lived during the last week. Trouve une chose positive qui t'est arrivée la semaine dernière. It is something hard to find, isn't it? Because we always think about the negative side. The negative things that happened in our life. Rappelle-toi toujours de ton parcours. Les épreuves que tu as parcourues. The challenges you overpassed. And say it out loud. Every day. Write it. And read it. Every day. Every moment you doubt. À chaque fois que tu doutes about toi-même. About yourself. Or your choices. Every moment you think you're a bad person. You're not enough. You're not a good mom, a good dad, a good sister, or a good brother. Every moment you think you're not enough for people, as a friend or as a person. You're enough for you and for everybody. And if someone says the opposite, if someone tries to convince you about the opposite, si quelqu'un sous-entend que tu n'es pas assez bien, c'est que cette personne n'a pas compris. It is that this person didn't understand, didn't see the real you, didn't see who you really are, didn't see your real value. Yeah, it is true that we can't fit with everybody. On ne peut pas plaire à tout le monde, mais on peut se plaire à soi-même. And if you're happy with yourself, if you love yourself, you will automatically give love to others, give happiness and hope to others who might don't love themselves, they will feel this love that you have for yourself, this hope that you have to improve yourself, and they will be inspired to do the same. In my journal, I wrote something personal about myself, to always remember who I am. If you think it is selfish or arrogant, I think you didn't get the right message that I want to share. Here's what I wrote. You're strong. You are intelligent. Tu es doué. Et tu es toujours à fond dans ce que tu entreprends. You always put 100% of you in everything you undertake. You share advices, des conseils, des avis. You always try to help others, bring them happiness in their life. De leur faire comprendre ta devise, your motto, and why it is the key to happiness. La clé vers le bonheur, le succès et l'épanouissement. You deserve good things. You deserve everything possible in this world. You deserve to be happy, to have real friends, people who really love you for who you are, and not who they want you to be. You deserve the success in anything you decide to do, to create, to invest your time, your desire, and your trust. You deserve to meet people who will admire you, who will take you as their model, because you fucking deserve it. Yes, you deserve all this thing because you're a good person with good values. You're someone totally real, honest, and always here pour push tout le monde plus haut que what they thought even possible to accomplish. And you must be sure that I will always be here to remind you this, to try to give you some self-confidence, because you need it, and there is no reason you don't have it. And you don't believe in yourself. Trust yourself. Have confidence in yourself, on what you do, on what you want to do or in your dreams. Create your dreams and make it real. Do everything possible to realize it. And always give 100% of you when you want something. But be careful. Listen to adults. If they tell you that you will arrive to do it, go ahead. Run. Do it right now. Don't waste 1 second more. If you're not sure, if you hesitate, if you don't have enough confidence on something, ask. Don't be afraid to ask for help. La conduite, si Claudia te dit que c'est bien, alors rassure-toi. Crois-la, tu conduis bien, Juliette. Oui, encore quelques petits défauts, mais qui n'a pas des défauts? Des erreurs, ça se corrige. Et tu as la chance d'avoir Claudia pour t'aider, pour te conseiller et t'aiguiller. Alors, listen to her. Aie confiance en elle. And keep smiling. Always smile. Always be positive. Always see the good side of what's happening. Always be motivated to give better, to do better, to improve yourself, to improve and develop your skills and your knowledge. You deserve it. And you're the best. Simply because you are only yourself. And you always want to do better. Because you're a perfectionist. So don't transform this wonderful quality on something bad. Make it your strength. Stay focused and open-minded. Affronte les critiques and go ahead. T'es énervé? You're upset? Wait. Breathe. Respire. Ferme les yeux 5 secondes. Close your eyes 5 seconds. Remember you all these things. Rappelle-toi de tout ça. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open your eyes. Tu vas mieux? Do you feel better? C'est bon. You can continue. One thing that talk about insecurities with a real message of hope is the French song that we're gonna listen right now, Corps from Isolde.
Corps nu sur le sol, je me fais du mal depuis des années. La main sur les yeux, pas envie de la retirer. Y a pas de place pour les fables, y a pas de place pour les regrets. Le cœur sur le sol, relève-toi, faut pas déconner. Je sais bruit dans ma tête et j'aimerais que ça cesse mais en vain. Ah, j'ouvre un peu les yeux, des couleurs, des photos me reviennent. Ah, tous ces bruits dans ma tête, faut que ça cesse. J'ai perdu la tête. Où est le chemin de ma maison? Quoi qu'il advienne, je retrouverai les clés de la raison. J'ai perdu la tête. Où est le chemin de ma maison? Quoi qu'il advienne, quoi qu'il advienne. Le regard des gens, j'en ai que faire. Qui sont-ils pour me juger? Un pardon à mon père. Insolente, je l'étais. Dans les yeux de mon frère. Ouais, des claques qui s'en est bouffé. Sur les joues de ma mère, des rivières se sont écoulées. Je sais bruit dans ma tête et j'aimerais que ça cesse mais en vain. Ah, j'ouvre un peu les yeux, des couleurs, des photos me reviennent. Ah, tous ces bruits dans ma tête, faut que ça cesse. J'ai perdu la tête. Le chemin de ma maison, quoi qu'il advienne, je retrouverai les clés de la raison. J'ai perdu la tête. Où est le chemin de ma maison? Quoi qu'il advienne, je retrouverai les clés de la raison. Perdu la tête, où est le chemin de ma maison? Quoi qu'il advienne, je retrouverai les clés de la raison. J'ai perdu la tête, ouais. Quoi qu'il advienne, je retrouverai les clés de la raison. Et...
Hey, what's up, y'all? Are you interested in writing and having your voices heard? Or just love being involved with the newspaper and the whole team behind it? Are you also into current trending news that is happening across all FDU campuses? If so, come check out the campus newspaper, The Equinox. Also, they post often on their Instagram page at EquinoxFDU. So if you love being on social media and keeping the people updated, this is the right club for you. If you have any questions about the Equinox, check out their website at fduequinox.com or DM them on Instagram at EquinoxFDU. Or if that's too much, shoot them an email at equinoxfdu@gmail.com. This is one of a lifetime opportunity to be on a team with other creative people posting amazing news to keep the FDU community running and updated. Plus, it's fun, so don't miss out. Join the Equinox today. This message brought to you by the student voice of Fairleigh Dickinson University, 89.1 WFDU HD3.
I guess I gave you all the keys that I have to feel better in your life. Be careful. I've never said that it will be like la parfaite recette pour être heureuse. No, it is not the perfect rules to follow robotically to be happy, but it can definitely improve your perception about everything and your appreciation of yourself. You know now how to anticipate your feelings. I mean, how to deal with your feelings and think that a negative event or un événement triste will not only have negative outcomes. Everybody knows this expression, I guess. Rien n'est tout noir, ni tout blanc. There is nothing good or bad, but thinking makes it so. In the next talk show, we will talk about motivation, perseverance. You have now all the keys to happiness. I would like to give you all the keys to success. Never give up, toujours persévérer, and keep your goals in mind. I want to give you some advices about how you can find what you like, how to realize your dreams throughout law of attraction, manifestation, and visualization. Let me know if you're interested. Don't hesitate to send me a message on social media, Instagram especially. My name is Guliette. G-U-L-I-E-T-E. I repeat again, G-U-L-I-E-T-E. In French, G-U-L-I-E-T-E. G-U-L-I-E-T-E. If you have feedbacks, questions, recommendations, don't hesitate. I'm here to help you. Finally, I would like to thank you for joining me for this special talk show. I know it was very different from what I do usually, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I helped you in some ways. J'espère que je vous ai aidé à comprendre certaines choses. I left you with this last song called Belle Vie from Immediate Music. No lyrics at all. Take these 2 minutes with this song to reflect about everything I said. Qu'est-ce que tu peux en retirer? What have you learned? And then it will finish with another song from Imagine Dragon called Dreams. Thank you very much for your listening. See you next week for a music show at 2 p.m. on WFDU HD3, the student voice of Fairleigh Dickinson University.